I would hazard a guess that there's a 90%, an extremely high chance, that you are listening to and working with advice and recommendations about your wedding with the information from people who don't have a fucking clue. And I'd include in this group the majority of your family, friends, a shit ton of those on TikTok, and well-meaning newlyweds who want to pass on their experience in wedding forums and chat groups. With 15 years and over 900 wedding ceremonies experience myself, with a background as a wedding and events manager, extensive hospitality work, and a degree in performance jazz, I can also assure you that even I don't know everything you need to know either. So in this episode, you will learn why you shouldn't listen to every Tom, Dick, and fucking Harry about your wedding, how to know if recommendations and advice are valuable for your specific needs, and then my top 22 PSAs or public service announcements, those micro warnings and things to remember, those gold nugget bits of advice that I really hope will be valuable for you. Let's get stuck into this. Unbridely is a community of pro-wedding vendors who believe in freedom and integrity in weddings, giving you options, solutions, tips and tricks to create the experience and memories that you and your fiancé really want and deserve. Because we believe that weddings are a team sport. With how-tos, stories and interviews with recently married couples, we find out what went right and what they'd change if they could go back and do it all over again. I'm Camille, and welcome to the Unbridely podcast. I'd love to share a quick story about recommendations and advice and the problem of accepting people's recommendations and advice. I'm pretty sure I heard Simon Sinek, author and TED Talk speaker, flesh out this concept once before, but I can't find the video. I can't find the evidence, but let's just say it's Simon's. Thank you, Simon. It's about someone who comes from America and is traveling in France. If you imagine this person, this traveler, is on the platform of the metro in Paris, and amongst the buzz and the chatter of hundreds of French-speaking people, they perceive the voice of an American. So they introduce themselves, they have a quick chat. Hey, where are you from? Where are you from? They work out they're both from New York. And then they work out they're both from roughly the same neighborhood. And then one asks the other, in this foreign space, in this foreign country, where they don't know quite where they're going, what they're doing, what's good, what's not, for their recommendations for a restaurant. There is a high probability that the traveller is going to take the American, the New Yorkers, the person from their neighbourhood's recommendations above any others that they will hear from the hotel that they're staying at, from other Parisians, from any travel guidebook. And here's the biggest problem with that. We naturally, as humans, me too, absolutely, we trust the people that we trust's recommendations. So think about it. When you get targeted on Instagram or Facebook for ads, and it says at the top there that a friend of yours or a family member, that they like this product or they like this service, this person has bought in to something that you're looking at. It gives it cachet. It gives it weight. You think, oh, it can be trusted then because I trust my friend. And this might be true. It might be true if your values and your friend or family's values are the same, if they're aligned, if you both are very eco-conscious and you're trying to find ways to minimize waste around your household, and you see that they have liked a certain sandwich wrap, for example, that can be, used again. You can wrap up your sandwiches with it, you can wash it, you can dry it, you can use it repeatedly. You might see that they like that one thing, which might make that connection more valuable for you. But this is exactly why I wanted to tell this story, because most of the information you are going to get from the people that you love, the people that you trust, might not be the best for you. And even with my extensive background, and even with everyone that I chat to, interstate, overseas, all these people who have had decades of experience in events, in catering, in music, in makeup, in beauty. They only know what they've seen as well. And so I've got to bring together these different people with all this different experience, but with a similar set of values in excellence in customer service, in being progressive and being inclusive, in putting more value on the feels of a wedding rather than what it looks like. So feels first and then make it pretty. Yeah, knock your fucking socks off, but feels first. Why are we doing this thing? Why are we planning for 12 to 18 months? It's because it's important in our lives, not just a photo opportunity. And so if we're all pulling in that direction, I pull in that direction, you're pulling in that direction, and everyone that I bring on is, then at least you can be sure that the goal that we're all going for is similar. But then you still need to match that up with how much experience has this person had with these couples, with these gorgeous, gorgeous couples who want to share their experience, or the cliche of the bride who's just gotten married and went, gosh, that was so much fun. I think I might be a wedding planner now. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that works. Absolutely. But one wedding does not an expert make. You've had one shot, one perspective. Think about anything that you've done once. You know one angle, which is great, and it's a start. I don't want to put people down. Absolutely, it's a start, but it's just one angle. There are an infinite number of ways for weddings to happen, an infinite number of values that people will have that they view their wedding through, like a perspective, like a lens. And you need to be holding that same perspective and those same values for whatever advice they're trying to tell you to make sense and be valuable for you. I want you to know that you don't need to listen to everyone. You don't even need to listen to me. But I want you to find your person, your people, your values in everything. So, keeping that in mind and making sure that you put your values, both yours and your fiance's, of course, you're putting your values front and center and you're building a wedding around them and you're not letting other people divert you from what is meaningful to you. So let me get stuck into these 22 PSAs. Now, some of these are a bit frivolous, some of these are a bit fun, but I'm hoping you will find something in here where you can go, oof, didn't think of that one. Okay, I'll add it to the list, or I'll find someone to delegate that to, which would be a win, right? And you have a slightly better, happier, less stressful wedding experience yourself. PSA number one, because I really like it, I'm one of those people who always, almost always, has a hair tie on my wrist. And by some miracle, I didn't have one when I walked down the aisle at my wedding, but no one told me, no one reminded me. It's a very small thing, but something that you might die of embarrassment from. I know I would. I would have died of embarrassment. So ask a friend, a bridesmaid, a family member to remind you to take the hair tie off your wrist before you arrive at your ceremony. Number two, if you're lucky enough to have pockets in your outfit, whether you're wearing a wedding dress or a suit or a jumpsuit, doesn't really matter. If you've got the pockets, just keep an eye on them. And maybe even ask someone in your wedding party to check your veil, to check your train, and to check your pockets before you have your photos done. And make sure there's nothing in your pockets, but also, you know how sometimes the pockets just sort of come out a little bit, little bunny ears things? You want to make sure those pockets are tucked in. So it's really great to have someone just take a scan of you, making sure that everything's sort of in line. And number three, get that magic person to also monitor that you eat something. Snacks without too much sugar. You don't want those sugar highs and their massive crashes around your ceremony time. And to drink water too. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you will forget and then you'll regret it later. And the number of people I have had stand up at a ceremony with me swaying. They just haven't remembered, or more frequently than not, they've run out of time to eat and to drink water. I'm sorry, it's a priority, Make sure you get someone who can help make you accountable and bring those things to you if you need. Number 4 is with transport and accommodation for your guests. If they're being picked up from their hotel, for example, before your ceremony, make sure that the check-in time for their hotel is well before your ceremony start time and then allows plenty of time for travel. So if you imagine a 4:00 ceremony start time and you've got a 2:00 check-in, you've got a couple of hours there. If it's an hour drive to the ceremony, for an Uber or a minibus or, a large size bus, then you're okay. But if you've got a 3:00 ceremony start time and it's an hour travel and there's a 2:00 check-in, you're starting to get into some troubling territory there where anything that puts that bus a little bit late or your guests a little bit late from checking in is going to affect your ceremony start time and start pushing that out. You don't want to be there all ready to go and your wedding venue, your coordinator says, sorry, we've only got half your guests because the bus hasn't arrived yet. Number 5, if you're having a ceremony rehearsal, wear your wedding shoes to get a sense of the terrain. So is it grassed? Could your heel sink? Is it gravel? Could you be a little bit unsteady on there? Is it on a slope? You might want to have a think of whether wedges or thick block heels or even a rug under you might help you to stand or walk better at your ceremony space. It will also help for you to wear your shoes in a little bit more around the house prior to help with that flexibility, maybe a few less blisters, and generally feel better in your wedding shoes on the day. Number 6, for stiletto heels in particular, those heel stoppers, they can save you. So they're like little plugs that go on the bottom. They're generally made of a plastic or a rubber, and they've got sort of a larger diameter. So you've got a greater surface area when you're walking around, which can be brilliant when the grass or earth is a little bit wet because you don't want to be sinking into it. It's going to make you a little bit more steady on your stiletto heels. But also for a lot of wedding shoes, they're made of like a beautiful satin or a silk or something really delicate, often in really light coloured fabrics too. And the second that you get them on rough terrain, they'll rip, they'll tear, and you can easily end up with very damaged heels very, very quickly. So those heel stoppers can be a godsend. Number 7, choosing and proposing to your wedding party. So we're talking about your bridesmaids, your groomsmen, best people, beer dudes, whomever you want to include, either, in your ceremony standing up there with you or just as guests of honor, those that you're sort of elevating above the rest of your wedding guests in some way or another. Don't choose them and let them know about it. So propose or ask, however you're doing this. Don't choose them too far out from your wedding date. It might not be a great idea as your relationships can shift and change during this time. Often 6 months in advance-ish is plenty of time. And one wedding planner actually suggested thinking twice about choosing a wedding party at all because it's definitely easier, cheaper, and a more pleasant day all round just to skip it. As in, don't elevate these people above everyone else, that all of your wedding guests are equal. They don't sit on special tables. They don't have special outfits, dresses. They don't get special presents. They don't have to throw parties for you. All of the above. Because you can definitely involve those closest to you in other ways rather than forcing them to wear identical dresses that no one loves or feels comfortable in or drop hundreds of dollars in pre-wedding events. Just a thought there. Let's face facts. You've always been the planner and the organizer. And your fiancé's eyes glaze over a little when you start talking about the details of your wedding day. But you really need someone to share this all with, to bounce ideas off, and someone who's not going to ruin the surprises, but also be supportive and maybe even offer a different perspective. So when you're needing to get a second opinion about your bridesmaid, your in-laws, or your first dance song, Unbridely Couples is your safe space. Unbridely hosts a private Facebook community where modern engaged couples can share ideas, chat, and solve problems, and generally just get freaking excited about their wedding. We also have a curated list of experienced wedding vendor professionals in there to offer suggestions and tips, insight into how to get the most out of your big day. But with no unsolicited DMs or pushy sales tactics, it's just not what Unbridely is about. So you can search for the Unbridely Couples group on Facebook or just click on the link in the show notes. I'll see you in there. Number 8, if you buy an ivory dress, gown, suit or whatever, and you're planning on wearing a veil, you want an ivory veil, headpiece, clip, on your hair, around your hair, a hat even. Match ivory with ivory. A lot of people realize that matching can make a big difference, and they realize that too late. Number 9, if you're getting printed invitations or save the dates, please remember that you won't need an individual invitation for every person. You're just needing one for every household or family, so groups. For example, if I was sending wedding invitations to my family, rather than sending out 13 invitations or getting them printed, I would only need to send them to 6 households. That's less than half. So make sure you don't pay for invitations for every person, just every household or family. And number 10, while we're on the topic of invitations, if you've got an envelope that is not a standard size or is particularly plump, you've got lots of beautiful, maybe a little ribbon around your invitation suite, if you've got any of those beautiful pressed wax seals, if it won't be going through the machines like standard mail, it's going to take longer for it to arrive at its intended destinations. And in some circumstances, I've heard that a month is not unusual. So don't get caught out there. Number 11, if you find your makeup starts to look a bit cakey throughout the day, you might want to try a spritz of NYX Cosmetics Plump Finish Setting Spray. It will instantly give your skin a plumping look and provides 24-hour hydration, but you're making sure, of course, that you test before your wedding day. As with everything, we are testing everything. But yes, it comes highly recommended from several makeup artists, and I've seen it mentioned in chat groups quite a bit. NYX Cosmetics Plump Finish Setting Spray. I'll put a link in the show notes as well. Number 12, fashion glue, body tape, booby tape, false eyelash adhesive. These can be lifesavers in so many different scenarios. So one of my faves includes a dab of false eyelash adhesive on the pendant of a necklace. So to keep it in the right spot on your décolletage, right? So it's not going to move. But again, you're testing this well before the day. If you think about it, a reaction or irritation on your skin can take a week or 2 to resolve itself sometimes. So you're going to want to test these things like at least a month out from the big day. Number 13, safety pins can fix everything, almost everything, from a ripped hem to quickly pinning a floral buttonhole or boutonniere in place. Have them on hand. Keep them in your emergency kit. Number 13, safety pins. Get them, keep them, have them on hand. Number 14, even if you're changing your name after the wedding, make sure that everything you book immediately after, so your honeymoon, flights, accommodation, etc., is in your current name. So change your name after you get back. For more on the change of name process and the little hiccups that you can make, which we don't want you to make, have a listen to episode 19 of the Unbridely podcast, which is 3 mistakes people make when changing their last name after getting married with easy name change. You can get into a fair whack of trouble, especially with airplane tickets in the wrong name, a name that you can't prove with ID. Yes, don't make that mistake, please. Number 15, arrange for substantial snacks to be waiting for you in your hotel room or wherever you're staying the night after your wedding. So while you might find time to eat a little on your wedding day, it's super rare that you will have had enough food during the day. You'll be so very grateful whatever it may be, some of your favorite food, but arrange to have those snacks waiting for you. Number 16, don't neglect to put together a group photo list. Now, I'm not talking about a shot list, which basically tells your photographer how to do their job, but a list of names plus the first letter of their last name if there's more than one person at your wedding with the same name. So think Alison K and Alison M, for example. And also delegate the keeping and implementation of that list to a photo captain. Have a listen to episode 38, Yes, You Need a Photo Captain or Two, and This Is Why, with Valentina Perez Studio, to find out who is a good choice and how long a list of group photos is going to take out of your celebrating time. It's really good to keep in mind. Okay, you're doing super well. We're almost there, guys. So number 17, an extra point on that group photo list is to actually tell your family that you want to have these photos with them. So thanks to Alex the Celebrant who commented on my Instagram story to add this to the episode. The number of times a couple want to get their family and group photos done while everyone is supposedly close by, and then their brother ticks off to help someone, go to the toilet, auntie's gone to grab a drink, they're anywhere other than where you need them to be. And it holds everything up, meaning that you get less time to do what you want. So even a group text, just letting them know ahead of time, like the week of, will hopefully help you save you some time, get you to the parts of your wedding that you actually really want to be a part of. Number 18, keep some shaving cream. I know, keep some shaving cream, baby wipes, and cotton buds or Q-tips for my American couples on hand for makeup removal from garments. It's super gentle and it's effective. And again, you test on a piece of fabric that won't be seen first. But yeah, shaving cream, little cotton bud, baby wipes can also help. But remember, that is sort of pressing in and smearing across. So it depends on the type of fabric you've got, what you're doing with it. Number 19, one thing that can really mess up your timeline is transport issues, either the wrong address, the wrong venue, the wrong time, the wrong entrance, the wrong booking info into how many people you need picked up. So at least 2 weeks prior, triple check your wedding party and immediate family's transport details. Is it all locked in and confirmed? Is it all paid for? Have you got addresses, dates and times all confirmed in writing, preferably, and or in person, as in on the phone? And is there a backup plan in case the transport you've arranged falls through for one reason or another? So what would you do if they didn't show or a car or bus breaks down? Work this out well in advance. So on the day, it's not a disaster. It's just plan B or C, and it won't skew your timeline. Number 20, who has your vows, your speech, the marriage license, if you're in a country that requires one, and the rings? Again, delegate well in advance and pick people who you can trust. Number 21, trust your wedding vendors and don't micromanage them. So obviously this only applies if you've booked experienced, reputable, talented wedding specialists. But that's the idea of bringing in the pros. They've done it before. And they know pretty much every aspect of what you might experience in the lead up and on your wedding day, weekend or week. And they can guide you, watch out for potential pitfalls and solve problems you didn't even know you had. But as many engaged couples discover during the planning process, that expertise, insight, and care costs money, which can feel like a win at the time, but it's later down the track, either during the planning lead up, during your wedding, or worse still, afterwards, that you might work out that their work may not be up to the standard you're hoping for or expecting. The best advice I can give in hiring people is to not expect a different or better product or service than what you can see on their website, videos, albums, and in person. So very similar to dating someone, a vendor will hopefully show you their very best when they're hoping to secure your booking. And a lot of the time that either stays the same or only goes down from there. Oh my God. I mean, I could talk about this for days, but the short story is Weddings are a team sport, so you want a great team. If you'd like to learn more about booking in the best wedding professionals for you, then head on back and listen to episode 1 about Unbridely. Okay, I'm going to let this one go. PSA number 22 is your emergency contact list. Have one, please, and have lots of copies of it and have it kept in the cloud somewhere. So an accessible place. All of your vendors, all of your immediate family and wedding party, including who your right-hand person is. So if things fall apart, who do you want to handle it? Hint, it can't be you. So if you don't have a full-service wedding planner or coordinator, you're going to need to choose someone who has a track record for being reliable, a problem solver, and calm under pressure. You don't want to know about what's gone wrong. You just need to know that this person has got your back. So they are my top 22 PSAs for weddings. And I'll just quickly recap. So number 1 is take the hair tie off your wrist. Number 2, pockets, check it out, and your train and your veil. Number 3, eating and drinking. Crazy. Number 4 is matching up any transport and check-in times at hotels. Number 5, wearing your wedding shoes to your rehearsal. Number 6, for stiletto heels, heel stoppers. They are your best friend. Number 7, wedding party. Wait, please wait before you propose to them or ask them or however you're doing it, or skip the wedding party. Number 8, ivory dress gown or suit, ivory veil headpiece or clip. Number 9, printed invitations or save the dates, 1 per household or family, not 1 per person. Number 10, non-standard size envelopes take longer. Number 11, the NYX Cosmetics Plump Finish Setting Spray. Number 12, fashion glue, body tape, booby tape, false eyelash adhesive. But remember to test. Number 13, safety pins. Get them. Number 14, book everything in your current last name. Number 15, substantial snacks for yourself and your new spouse for after the wedding. Number 16, a group photo list and photo captain or 2. Number 17, tell your family, tell your friends if you want photos with them. You need to cut down that time. Number 18, shaving cream, baby wipes and cotton buds for effective makeup removal. Number 19, transport. Double check it, triple check it, make sure and get a backup plan. Number 20, your vows, your speech, the marriage license, the rings, delegate. Number 21, trust and don't micromanage. And 22, your emergency contact list and right-hand man who knows where that emergency contact list is. I hope there is some gold in here for you, and I hope these might have prompted new ideas and new things that you want to check and just make sure that you've got in hand. I didn't want to do this episode to freak you out. I wanted to pass on some knowledge and make sure that you're as prepped as you can possibly be, well ahead of time, so you can enjoy it more. I'm sure there are at least another 22 PSAs that would be super useful. So if you've got something that you've learned or something that you've seen, please, I would love to hear it. You can send me a DM on Instagram at Unbridely or shoot me a 90-second audio message on SpeakPipe. The link's in the show notes, and I'll chat with you real soon. That about wraps it up for this episode of the Unbridely podcast. For the links and resources we mentioned, please head to the show notes. And if you love the show, please review and subscribe on the podcast platform you're on now so you don't miss out on a single episode. Thanks so much for listening. And remember, weddings are a team sport. Catch you soon.